James Lynch here for MMA News with Artem Lobov, who finally has a fight. It's going to be taking place at Arena Fight 2 on December 12th. Artem, how's it going, man? It must feel pretty good to get a fight booked.
I'm good, James. Thank you so much. Yes, it feels unbelievable to finally be fighting, to finally see the world, settle down a little bit and a bit of normality, come into the world of MMA as well. The shows are starting to pop up left, right, and center. And I'm excited to be back in the game.
Yes, it's good to see you back in the game. How did this all come together with you taking this fight? You take me through that process.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was obviously on the lookout for fights, but the way things were so unclear with this COVID, and I was talking to different promoters, and of course, having me on the show is not cheap. It would be an expensive fight for any show. And of course, without the people in attendance and uncertainty, nobody wanted to commit yet. I was literally hearing back from promoters saying, Artem, can we please wait a little bit? We would love to have you on our show. We know what you can do for us, but we want it to be, a proper show. We don't want it to be with no people in attendance at all, or God forbid the show gets canceled because of this COVID. So it has taken me a while to get a fight. But finally, AFC, their new promotion in France, as you know, probably MMA in France was illegal up until now. And so now that it is finally legal there, of course, there's a lot of interest and a lot of big investors. And if you want to launch your promotion the right way, there's no better way to do it than with me as your headline.
I agree. Yeah, making a bit of history, which is really cool. Now, is this like a multi-fight deal or just a one-off? Like, do you have the opportunity after this fight to go fight elsewhere, or are you locked up with them?
They wanted to give me a 4-fight deal originally, but I just said, look, guys, you're a new promotion. I've so far heard only good things about you, but at the same time, I would like to find out for myself. You don't really know until you fight for somebody what it's really like, and down the line, I do this 1-fight deal. We'll see what happens next. So far, the guys have been very professional. They pay well, and it's looking good so far, but after the fight, we'll see. I wouldn't want to sign an exclusive contract anyway. I want to leave my options open, for boxing, for bare knuckle, for MMA, K1. It puts me in a little bit riskier position because once you have a contract, when you're fighting, how much you're getting. Whereas the position I'm in is a little bit more riskier, but the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. It allows me, negotiate for better payments. It allows me to negotiate with multiple promotions across multiple sports at the same time, and as a result, my pay is always on top.
Yeah, no, you're a businessman, Artem, and I like it. That's one of the things we talked about last time. You got to know your worth in this sport, and it's good to have some options. So good to hear that you're not locked into that. We spoke, like I said, earlier this year. Did you anticipate it was going to be this tough finding a fight, whether it's bare knuckle or boxing? I know we're in COVID right now, but we are seeing a lot of shows happen. Did you anticipate this being much of a challenge?
But to be honest, with this COVID thing, I just didn't really know what was going to happen. At the start, I was hoping it would just blow over pretty quick. Then I realized it wasn't going to happen. Then I was just getting frustrated, especially when I was looking at Sweden, who didn't do any lockdown and were doing absolutely fine. And yet the rest of the world was doing these lockdowns and preventing, the shows from popping up, from doing events, So I honestly, at some point, I thought I will probably not fight this year. I thought that I was going to have to be next year. But, I was happy to get the deal done and so excited to be back, honestly. I'm so excited to finally be there. And, of course, that it's MMA again. MMA is my bread and butter. This is what I started from, and I'm happy to be back in the game.
And this fight's in December. It's been a while since you've taken any sort of fight since we last saw you. Financially, how are you doing? Like, has it been a struggle? Or you're a guy who's good with his money, but still, when you're not fighting, you're not, cashing those paychecks.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt the pressure as well this year. I was lucky enough to put on a hell of a year financially last year.
Yes.
I wasn't under too much pressure, but still, I want to keep that going. I don't want to just be eating up into my reserves. I have a family, I have a little kid, and so I have to provide, and I'm delighted to be back doing so in December.
Yeah, I saw the photo of your son on Instagram. You're doing water babies. I had to do the same thing with my son as well too. How's Artem Lobov, the dad, dealing with that?
I love it. I absolutely love my kid. I swear to God. I mean, that's all I do now. I go train, I come home, and I play with my kid. I absolutely love, being with him. I love seeing him smile. I just, honestly, it's an overwhelming feeling that I have discovered recently, and I absolutely love it. It's my motivation. It's my reason. He's my everything. I truly can say that.
How old is he now?
He's a year and a half now.
Wow, he's a big boy. I saw from that photo I saw, so that's good. He's taking his vitamins, which is great. You talked about training there. When did the gym open up? Because I know you train at SBG Ireland. I know the gyms are open now, but when we last spoke, you were sort of doing stuff at home. So when did you actually get back in there?
Now, to be honest, I wouldn't tell you the exact date now when I kind of got back into it, but it was quick enough. Initially I was locked down, not doing anything. Then I started training a little bit at home, but I quickly realized that it was nowhere near the level that it needs to be, in order to compete with the guys that I'm competing with, So I pretty quickly started meeting just some of my sparring partners, just one-on-one training, grappling or wrestling. I started meeting my coach, my boxing coach in the park, doing pads and stuff like that. So I have been training pretty well. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm at a point where I've been training so long in my life, and unless I know that I have a fight coming up and I know that I'm going to be getting paid, my intensity is not there until I have that secured. So now that I have a fight in mind, I will truly turn up the training and go beast mode, go crazy mode, and put in a hell of a camp. But I was in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, for an average person, I'm a hell of a shape.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like you're still in good shape, but it's just fighting shape's different when you have a fight coming up. The motivation level, that could crank up a little bit more.
My coach always says, this shape is probably hell of a shape for civilians, as my coach calls them. But for us fighters, this is nowhere near the level that it needs to be. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of months where I will turn up my training and get some proper sparring in and proper training in.
I don't know if you trained with him or not, but I saw Johnny Walker was training with you guys ahead of his fight coming up against Ryan Spann. Did you get to work with him at all or get to see him at the gym?
I saw him at the gym, yeah. I definitely saw him at the gym. Now, I didn't get to work with him. He's huge, he's a big boy. He is strong, explosive. I've seen him sparring. He's looking very, very good. And I was talking to John as well. They were saying, man, this guy has just raw potential, so much raw potential. He just needs a little bit of direction, a little bit of work, and this guy can go places. This guy is going to be big, no question about it.
Yeah, and I should mention that fight's on Saturday at the time of recording this, so really interested to see how Johnny looks in that one. When was the last time you spoke to Conor McGregor? I know even during quarantine, you guys were still keeping in touch. Have you trained with him at all? I know he's sort of doing some charity stuff now, but what's been the latest with him?
Yeah, so that's why Conor was training obviously for the marathon. It's not a normal marathon; it's this water marathon. On this,
saw that. It's kind of crazy.
On this bicycle that's on water. I've never even ridden any of those bikes before, so it was all new to me. But I know he was training hard, for it. So he's in good shape, and I'm sure we'll train again in the near future. Mm-hmm. And given as well that he is down in south of France, and that's where my fight is as well. It takes place.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's a good point. So
I'll probably go down and train with him at some point.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
Just probably a couple of days ago. We keep in touch over the phone pretty regularly. So.
Excellent. That's good. And then in terms of your opponent here, I don't want to butcher his name. I can't even pronounce it here. It's Ylies Djiroun. I think that's how you say it. He's got a 17-6 record. He's an experienced opponent. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
Well, to be honest, that was my main thing. I said, look, I want a good guy. I'm not fighting no riffraff. I didn't do it when at the time when everybody pads the record, when there was no money, no nothing, and all the risk in the world. I still took on the best in the world. So why wouldn't I do it now when I'm actually getting paid well for it? So that's all I know, that he's a good guy. He's going to be a tough fight, and that's what I like about it.
And in terms of training partners leading into this fight, we got lots of time, obviously, fight's in December, but who do you think you'll be working with leading into this fight? Will Conor probably be part of your camp, do you think?
I mean, I'll hopefully go down to train with Conor in the south of France at one point. That would be nice, training with Conor. It doesn't matter who you fight, he just brings a different level of intensity, different level of timing, and everything that comes with being a elite level fighter, So it's always great learning experience to train with him. Other than that, I always have Richie Smolin in my camp. He is a true friend and loyal friend to me for many years, and an incredible grappler and wrestler. And his striking is coming along as well now, so he'll definitely be there. And then we'll see who else. We have so many guys in the gym now. I do a lot of sparring with Pedro Carvalho as well. He's getting ready to fight for the Bellator world title as well. This guy is something else as well. I've never seen anybody as hardworking as he is, and it's good to train with him. But other than that, we'll see. I like to spar new guys all the time, because at the end of the day, that's what's happening on fight.
Yeah.
You're not fighting somebody that you're familiar with. You're fighting a completely new guy, and you have 3 rounds to figure him out. So that's what I like to do in my training, in my sparring for training camps. I get a new guy that I've never seen before, and I have 3 rounds to break him down and beat him. And then I change a new guy again the next week. You can never get enough sparring. It's not, you have to do as much of it as possible, because obviously, given the fact that sparring, does a lot of damage for you, you can't do too much of it. But ideally, that's what you would be doing. I mean, what is Michael Phelps doing in preparation for Olympic Games? He's in the fucking swimming pool day and night swimming.
Yeah.
So if you're getting ready for a fight, you have to be day and night fighting.
Yeah, no, it's true. I got to ask this as a Canadian. Do you work at all with Brad Katona down there? I know he's a little bit smaller than you. He's a bantamweight, but do you ever get to work with him?
Not lately, but I have worked with him a good bit before. We grappled before. He is a very good grappler. That's kind of his main strength. I worked with him. He's a nice guy. He's a quiet guy, but he's a good team member, definitely.
And you negotiate all these fights yourself, right? You don't have a manager?
I have a manager that kind of helps me, but I take a big part of it is me doing it myself. I mean, at the end of the day, who's going to look after me better than me myself?
Exactly.
And also, I have, of course, a business background. I have masters in finance, and I want to be involved in that business. I don't want, because at the end of the day, I need to look forward to the life after fighting. Mm-hmm. And right now, as a fighter, that allows you to establish very important connections that you can build on after the fighting career.
No, I agree with that. Have you ever thought about being a manager down the line? Because you have a good business background, about negotiations and everything. Is that something that's ever crossed your mind?
I probably couldn't be a manager, because I just couldn't take the money from fighters. I'm a fighter myself, and I know how tough it is. I just couldn't charge anybody. I always try and help out whoever I can in terms of fights and getting them contacts or whatever. And I never charge anything for anything, any of those services. To me, I just feel that, as a fighter, you should help another fighter,
How do you see the fight playing out on December 12th?
I mean, I'm looking forward to showcasing my new striking tools that I have. I mean, obviously, I've been working for the last year and a half on boxing alone. So my hands have improved so much. And I look forward to showcasing that. I've picked up so many new tricks. I can't wait to do it. And I really want to get a knockout. I need a big win now in order to set me up for some big fights. You see, in our sport, I've been on 6 figures for a long time, but the truth about 6-figure paydays is that it gives you a great life, but it does not set you up for the future. In order to get set up for the future, you need to be hitting 7 figures, and it is extremely hard, but that is my plan. I'm hoping to hit 7 figures next year, and for that I need a big win, and it needs to be a big KO. So that's what I'm going for in my next fight.
Before we go, got to talk to you about Bare Knuckle FC, because they just had a show last week, and I just was curious, have you been in touch with them? I know you have this fight coming up in December, but when was the last time you spoke to them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always in touch with the guys. I'm friends with a lot of the guys there, because obviously, like, in any promotion that's just starting up, it's always kind of has that small feel. It's a family feel to it, and that's exactly how Bare Knuckle FC is. So of course, me being the face of bare knuckle. I'm very close with all the guys there, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure you will see me there in the near future. I certainly have not closed the door on that promotion or on bare knuckle fighting in general. But so far, I'm amazed what's next for me, and that's what I'm concentrating on.
And now you said you're the man of the face of Bare Knuckle FC. Well, they now have a new face on the women's side. Did you see Paige VanZant sign with Bare Knuckle FC? What was your reaction to that? I think that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, Paige is a fighter. She's a tough girl. It's of course it's a much bigger risk for her than it is for me. I mean, let's face it, I don't really have much to lose in terms of looks. If anything, it can probably make me better looking.
Yeah.
But for her, of course, she can probably have a very successful career in modeling if she wanted to. And for her to commit to a bare knuckle, it's not an easy decision. So, I take my hat off to her, and it's great to see her in the sport. It's only going to put more eyes on a great sport, and it's only going to make the sport bigger, and in turn it's only going to make my paydays bigger. So thank you, Paige, for signing. Welcome to the team, and I look forward to watching her fight.
And I always look forward to talking to you, Artem. Thank you so much for the time. Always great catching up with you. We'll definitely have to link up closer to fight time and see how the camp went. But in the meantime, I'm sure you got some sponsors you want to thank. I'm sure you got some social media you want to plug. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I always want to thank my coach, John Kavanagh, and David Jones as well, my boxing coach, all my training partners at Straight Blast Gym, my sponsor, Parry Match. These guys are absolutely incredible to me. They always help me out, whatever I need, with them, whether it's financial advice or whatever. They've just been absolutely great to me. They've become not just a sponsor to me, but like a family to me, and I cherish that relationship very much so. So big thank you to them. And everybody that helps me, everybody. I have so many people to thank. You put me on the spot there a little bit. My physio, Shay Caffrey, my strength and conditioning coach, Owen Lacey, and John Connor, so many people to thank. They all know who they are. I'm working towards becoming a millionaire, and making sure that they become millionaires with me. I will never forget the help that they've provided me over these years. Just like an elephant, I never forget. I want to thank everybody, and the payback is coming for sure for all of them. I promise that. I will do everything in my power to make sure that they are looked after. That they are looked after. That they are looked after.